Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good evening.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm
I'm
good.
trying
How
to
are
turn off.
you doing?
I'm good. I'm turning off my music.
Okay,
Okay. Okay, so how's it going?
pretty good. Pretty good.
Oh, okay, good. It looks like we're the only two here today. So I was trying to give people a few minutes to get started to come in, but I guess they'll kind of trickle in as they can. My name is Andrea, and what's your name?
I'm Pam.
Hey, Pam. It's nice to meet you. So basically, what I usually do every Sunday, I pretty much go over my morning routines or what have you, and I kind of made a little presentation to let people read over. And then I also try to take everybody's questions that comes in and kind of go over my morning setup for when I trade SPY every morning, either SPY, SPX, or AMD. And then I answer any questions that anybody may have. But since it's just you and I right now, do you have any questions specifically that you want to start with?
Well, I'm not really sure where to start. I'll just tell you that I've been online and investing for about 4 years, but not really trading. Um, More just dabbling and more with crypto, but I'm trying to understand the charts. That's where I need to get my technical analysis up to speed. I'm really just trying to learn what I can there.
Okay. All right. So have you taken any trades recently?
I I see it's probably been a week since I did. I do pretty well at times when I'm online with either Keenan Grace has the live trades on Tuesday, Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and that I also follow Mario. I just started doing that. Um, but before that, it's always been with Keenan, and I've always been just pennies off, or for the longest time before he started the Zoom, I was like 10 seconds behind, and a lot changes in 10 seconds. So it seems like I
Right.
missed everything.
Right. Okay. All right. So I guess what I could do is I could go ahead and show you my this is a very simple strategy. It's called the orb. It's like the opening range breakout. And basically it is the you take the first 5 minutes of the day and you break out from there, and you kind of trade as the price action breaks out from the first 5 minutes of the day.
Okay. Yeah, the with Keenan and Chris and others, it's always been waiting. I've been trying to set up like what they call a gamble zone or a decision zone after the first 30 minutes before you trade. So this would
Mhm.
be all new to me to do this in the first five, and I would love to be able to do that because that's where you see the really huge swings start off.
Right, you're absolutely right. And a lot of times, even though you mark off the first 5 minutes, it doesn't mean that you're going to be jumping in like in minute 10 or 15 or 20. Sometimes it takes a while for the trades to set up. And so what I usually do every morning is the first thing I do is here, let's go back to when we had some real activity going. Let's go back to Wednesday, the 26th. So what I usually do every morning, probably about 9 o'clock, 9:15, just depends on what time I actually can get to my laptop because I work as well as day trade. So what I do is I go over to down here in Trading View. I go to extended trading hours and I mark off my pre-market high and low. See if we get the zoom out of the way. So I take the high of pre-market, which is about this candle right here, and I mark it off. Just draw a little line, horizontal line, Now come to the low of pre-market, which is right here. It's like pre-market was pretty narrow during pre-market on Wednesday. And then I go back to my regular trading hours. And as the market begins to open up, let's see, Wednesday, right here. Okay, that's not right. Let me take that off. Let me take that off. Let me go back and do it again. Let's see. All right. So 9:30 Wednesday is here. So our pre-market is here. It made a gap on Wednesday. We had the pre-market low. It kept bouncing right there from that 675.87. And then we opened up right here at 9:30. All right, so let's go back to regular trading hours.
Now, when you said the low, how far back did you go on the pre-market hours? Because it looks
um, I started at the hours that started at 4 a.m.
okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, and so after I do that, we look at the opening candle here at 9:30. And so the
Mm-hmm.
first 5 minute candle, let's make sure we're on the we're on the 5 minute time frame. So basically what I do is I'll take a box, little rectangle box, and I mark off this candle here, totally different color. And basically I just watch price action as it moves. Now, if you look at this first, do you see this first candle here at 5 minutes?
I do.
Okay. And so I just mark off the high and the low of that. And your pre-market high and low is already marked off. And so then you're ready to go for this strategy. Now, what I do is I don't, as soon as the price breaks out of the box, I don't necessarily trade it here like at 9:45 because a lot of times it may be a fake out. And as you see, it came back and it retested the box
Mm-hmm.
and then it chopped around for a few minutes, maybe about from like 9:55 up until about 10:25. So about 30 minutes it chopped around and then it broke out of the box again. And I wait until it fully breaks out of the box that second time, which happened about 10:30. And as you see right there, that still wasn't a clear move to the upside. We were still kind of chopping around and we still didn't make a clear direction. This may have been here if somebody would have taken this trade here at this candle. It may not have been a good trade. Well, it wasn't a good trade. Well, I'm gonna say this. It may not have appeared to be a good trade because it actually retested the box again. But if you look here, it actually came out of the box and then it went to the upside, and that was your trade right there. And that pretty much that setup pretty much happens pretty much every day. Right here is probably not the best example because as you see, it did break out and it did kind of come back and retest the EMAs here,
Mm-hmm.
which I have my 8 EMA, my 12, and my 20. It did come back and retest those EMAs, but eventually it did go in the right direction. And you never did get below this 9 EMA, which is a good indication that it's still like in a bullish format. And it eventually went up. And then pretty much the trade, it started chopping up here around 11:40, from 11:40 until 12 o'clock. It kind of retested the 20 EMA right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of went back up again. It was pretty choppy the rest of the day. Because if you kind of look, you could kind of really draw if you wanted to, you could kind of draw another box and you'll see price action was real choppy the rest of the day until about, oh shoot, that box went away. Until about this area right here where it broke out again. But this was actually Friday because the day ended right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So it pretty much was chopping around in this area the rest of the day. Not a whole lot of momentum to either side. It kind of rode up and down on the EMAs the rest of the day. But your biggest move on Wednesday was when it left the box here at 10:50 and it kind of rode all the way up until 11:40. That was like an hour of movement to the upside. And so that's pretty much how I catch my day trades every morning. And they generally come anywhere between, I'm gonna say 9:45 and maybe 11:30 ish. Once it gets to be about like around here where you see 11:40, for me, I'll enter the market around this time, but for the most part, once I see it gets to be about 11:30, I'll start backing off on feeling like I'm gonna catch like a big momentum move. And so we could go back and look again at another thing with the pre-market high and low. Um I always keep that in mind because price action tends to respond to whatever the pre-market high and the pre-market low is. So right here you have your pre-market high, and as you see prices responding there. It never really when it broke out of the box basically is when it also kind of broke out and took over the pre-market high for the day. So that's one of the reasons why I always mark off the pre-market high and low to give me some kind of indication of what may be going on with the stock and why it may be behaving in the manner that it's behaving.
The one thing I don't understand is why you mark the first 5 minute candle, the white box you have there.
Okay, so can you repeat that question again?
Yes, I understand a high and low pre-market hours, and you're on a 5 minute time frame. And you said you marked the first 5 minute candle, and that's where you
Hmm.
drew your box.
Hmm.
Why do you mark your first 5 minute candle? I mean, what is the significance of the first 5 minute candle?
So the first five minute candle is basically a range that is kind of established as what is the range of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the opening range, so it has the most volatility of the day. If you look at your volume bars,
Mm-hmm.
um, it has the most volatility of the morning because you see this candle. Was it this candle? This candle here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at your all of your volume bars at the bottom, they're all below that until you get to power hour, which is at well, the 105 candle, it had a lot of volatility in it, but there's not any other candle that was larger than that candle. So it has typically on most days in the market, your first 5 minutes is the candle that has the most volatility. And that's why traders want to make their range off of that candle.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You have any more questions?
Oh, I'm sure I will, but not that I can.
Okay.
I noticed that somebody else joined, so maybe they have questions that I can learn from that, or it will. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I
And
do have a this,
another reason why traders kind of use this first 5 minute candle is because the institutions kind of place their large orders during the open. And so that kind of gives you just an idea of where the price action is going to range from. Either it's going to break out below that 5 minute candle or it's going to break out above that 5 minute candle. So it kind of gives you a range and it gives you a strategy that you can use to kind of guide your intraday trades.
okay.
All right. So I'm gonna take these lines off from pre-market from Wednesday, and then I'm gonna go back and show. Let's look at Tuesday. So Tuesday, we got started. Let's see, right here. So we had like a lot of price action on Tuesday to the up and the downside. It looks like SPY went and tested the 200 before it eventually went to the upside. If you kind of look back at SPY on Tuesday, but like during real time or real market time, you would be very interested in the fact that when it opened up at 9:30, let's see, it's right here. That's this candle here.
Hmm.
And if you draw your box, let's see.
And you're going from wick to tail?
I'm going from wick, yeah, wick to wick.
Okay.
And I would suggest like tomorrow, like maybe when the market opens, if there's a particular stock that you like, this works for any stock. Um, I would suggest putting your 5 minute chart up, and I would suggest just drawing out your 5 minute box and just kind of watching the price and watching how it responds to that one candle,
Okay.
and kind of getting an idea and seeing it um, as the market is moving along before you just kind of just jump out there and try the strategy. I would suggest like trying it out on like a paper trade type of way, just for a few days so you could kind of get an idea of how it works. Also, so you could get an idea of how things work in confluence with your EMAs. Because when it comes down to using this box, I don't just use the box. I also keep in mind what my EMAs are telling me, my exponential moving averages. And
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you have those marked out on your chart or not.
I do.
Okay, good. All right. So for me, I use, like I just said earlier, I use the 9 EMA, which is the green line. I use the 12 and I use the 20. And then the 200 is also marked out as well. So when you see how responded, it opened up very short and very tight. So the range for the morning was very tight, and we see that it came down and it tested the 200. Now, it came out of the box here in this candle, but because it didn't fully come out of the box, we didn't get a full open and close out of the box. It just, to me, I wouldn't have taken this trade here.
Hmm.
Um, I would have waited for this candle to open and close, being that we were coming up on the 200 or coming down to the 200. I would have seen that there and I would have said, well, I want to see how it's going to respond to the 200 because it may bounce from there. So I wouldn't be so quick to jump in with that 200 EMA being right there. So basically, what I would have done is I would have waited and just to see the response. And as you see, it kept testing the downside of this box. It kept coming down, coming out slightly, coming back up, testing it, coming out slightly, coming back up. So to me, that's a lot of indecision here, a lot of choppiness. We started getting a move up and we started coming up to test the top of the box. And we came out, we wicked out, and we came back in, and then we chopped around a little bit. And finally, at 11:20, we actually came out of the box for good, and we went all the way up until 12:30. So pretty much for the first mm, from 9:30 till about 11:10, 11:15, we were chopping around inside of the box without any real direction as to what we were going to do for the day. And so we finally made up our mind at, I'm going to say, 11:20. We had this elephant bar here, this large green candle here. That was an indication that we were kind of, and then we were coming up off of our EMAs, and then we finally went to the upside. So that's another example of how the box played out, and it pretty much plays out like that every day. You just gotta kind of get a indication of how the stock is reacting to the opening range or the what I call the box, and kind of just play it from there.
Now, with the first two candles that that were completely out of the box. I mean, I can look at it now and see, yeah, it's a good thing you didn't jump in. But when you had that first arrow break or the first candle breakout,
Uh-huh.
why did you not go ahead and jump in on a put? I mean, I know looking at it, that would have been a bad idea, but do you usually try to wait for several candles to confirm?
No, I don't wait for several candles to confirm. But the reason I didn't jump in on a put here is because my 200 EMA was here. And usually when a stock comes up on a EMA, that usually presents a roadblock.
Okay.
So as you see, we came out of the box and I saw the candle close there. And I did see the candle open there, but we didn't have a lot of room to go anywhere because we had that 200 EMA that was right there. See, as this candle was forming to the downside, this EMA was here. So that let me know that it's gonna get stalled out. And another thing that I also do, and it's kind of hard to show, like back testing it, is I always go to my higher time frames, and we're looking at 9:45 on Tuesday. So what I like to do is I go to my higher time frames, and my higher time frames actually tell a story as well. So if we go back to Tuesday at 9:45, which would be, let's see, Tuesday was the 25th, I do believe. Oh yeah, here's the box. We had a lot of EMAs during that first candle, that 15-minute candle that were holding up this trade. All right, here we are back at the box again. Keep in mind it was drawn off the first 5 minutes, but when you pull that box out on the 15-minute chart, um, now I'm starting to see where it's choppy for all that time. All the way up until right here, 11:20, and then that's when it finally broke out. But the reason why the 5 minute chart was showing all of that resistance, or those not resistance, but the bouncing that it was showing, and the fact that it couldn't get beyond that 200 EMA, is because we also had EMAs. We have the 20 EMA. Anytime you see an EMA ahead of your price action, there's going to likely be some of a somewhat of a stall there, because especially when you're on the higher time frame. So even though I've trade on the 5 minute time frame, I'm not sure if all this is like making sense what I'm saying, but
Oh,
I
yes.
trade on the 5 minute, but I check the 15 minute and the 1 hour to see if what I call roadblocks are ahead. And
Okay.
as you see, if I would have zoomed out to my 15-minute time frame, I had this 20 EMA that was holding up the trade around that time, around 9:45. So that's another reason why I didn't get into that trade when I saw the candle break down. Um, when I saw the candle come down the first 5 minutes, that's one reason why I didn't. Because there's always some roadblock up ahead that will say, well, no, you need to wait until it clears that. Once it clears that, or if it decides to go in a different direction and you don't have any EMAs up ahead to stall it out, then you could go ahead and take the trade. Now, I want you to look here at price action here. Do you see where it's kind of stalling out here?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I noticed also the volume down at the bottom. Um, the
Right
green
here,
was, yeah, yeah, I see that. Well, I see
right up in
the
here,
three soldiers. I was just looking at the how the I think they call them the three soldiers.
right here.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and that was an indicate. I believe that was an indication of strength and that it was going higher.
Yes. And it did go higher, but it stalled right here. I'm gonna say right about here. We kept getting this little resistance where it just kept bouncing from this area.
Mm-hmm.
And it did that. I just want to make a note of the time. I'm gonna draw a line. Just kept bouncing from here. Just never could get over this area right here. And this was like between 12:30 and I'm gonna say maybe 14:45. What is that? 2:45 maybe?
240. Yeah, 245.
Mhm. Okay. So let's go to our hour. Let's see what's going on. And we said this is Tuesday, correct?
Yes.
Tuesday at 12:30. Let's see. This is where we were stalling out here. So it's not here. It's not on the 1 hour where the problem was. So we were stalling out right about here. So let's go back to the 15 minute right here. That's where we were stalling. I don't see the problem. Let's look at the 30 minute. I'm looking for we were stalled out right here. I'm not sure what. Let me see. Could it have been the daily? EMAs on the daily? And let's see, let's make sure we go to 26th. No, 25th. Well, I can't really tell what was going on right here. It could have been an EMA, a moving average that it could have had trouble getting over from the daily candle because right here we do have some, you see where all of these EMAs are all mixed in right here. So it's kind of hard to show you during the like when you're back testing, but just keep in mind whenever you decide to enter a trade, and if you're on the 5 minute chart, to take a look at the 15 minute and the 1 hour chart so that you'll know whether or not there's EMAs that are right ahead of your price action, and that'll kind of because that'll cause a stall. Just always keep that in mind.
Okay. So you said keep an eye on it because it'll cause a stall.
Yes,
Okay.
like where, yeah, when I was showing you how the price action kind of stalled and we couldn't get over that specific amount.
Yeah, the purple triangle seems to pinpoint that. I'm not sure if I see it in two different places where the on your screen, well, I was okay. Huh.
Right here.
Well, I was looking at Wednesday, but I do see the purple triangle. Um, what time is that? It's in your box.
Right here.
Yeah, you see the purple triangle there,
Uh-huh.
and that's where the it looks like the what is that? The 9 and 12 and 20 all came together,
Yes. And the
and
9
then
crossed over the 20, yes.
and then again, I see it another purple triangle. It looks like it did the same thing. I say,
Right
yeah,
here.
yeah, where it
Yep.
crossed.
And then and then you went into an upward trend. Yep. And that triangle comes from, let's see, one of these indicators. It has to be because I have everything turned off. Let's see. Let me turn off the. Okay, so if I turn on my 5 EMAs indicator, that's where that purple triangle comes from. The purple triangle that you're speaking of.
Yeah, it comes from the what?
So I have an indicator on TradingView and it's called let me pull it up again. It's called 5 EMAs. Just if you type in 5 EMAs in your indicator search,
Mhm.
and then you could go in and set your EMAs, whichever EMAs you would like to use.
And that's when the purple pops up.
Yes, that's what that indicator comes from. It comes from that purple triangle comes from that particular indicator.
Okay.
Do you need you would you like for us to go through it and see if we can set it up?
No, no, no. I'm good. I mean, I can see where I'm just thinking there may be something set that